ancient folklore, while cloudy, evasive, and largely forgotten by the present generation, was of a highly singular character, and obviously reflected the influence of still earlier Indian tales. I knew it well, though I had never been in Vermont, through the exceedingly rare monograph of Eli Davenport, which embraces material orally obtained prior to 1839 among the oldest people of the state. This material, moreover, closely coincided with tales which I had personally heard from elderly rustics in the mountains of New Hampshire. Briefly summarized, it hinted at a hidden race of monstrous beings which lurked somewhere among the remoter hills, in the deep woods of the highest peaks, and the dark valleys where streams trickled from unknown sources. These beings were seldom glimpsed, but evidences of their presence were reported by those who had ventured further than usual up the slopes of certain mountains or into certain deep, steep-sided gorges that even the wolves shunned. There were queer footprints or claw prints in the mud of brook margins and barren patches, and certain circles of stones, with the grass around them worn away, which did not seem to have been placed or entirely shaped by nature. There were, too, certain caves of problematical depth in the sides of the hills, with mouths closed by boulders in a manner scarcely accidental, and with more than an average quota of the queer prints leading both toward and away from them, if indeed the direction of these prints could be justly estimated. And worst of all, there were the things which adventurous people had seen very rarely in the twilight of the remotest valleys and the dense perpendicular woods above the limits of normal hill climbing. It would have been less uncomfortable if the stray accounts of these rumors had not agreed so well.
Hey guys, welcome back to my Cthulhu Mythos video tutorial series. I originally intended to do more tutorials for this series. Tutorials as in, well, the last episode we left off, I hadn't even painted the map yet. I was just finishing up with the terraforming in World Painter. But because this map is so huge, I've had to do most of the work off camera for obvious reasons. I mean, I've got over 150 hours into this map. It's been quite a journey. So, I've sort of changed the game plan with the tutorial aspect of the series. This is the final video. We're not gonna go through all the painting and biomes and all that stuff. But what I am going to do is I'm still going to bring you tutorials for those things, but we're going to do that in a smaller test map that I can focus more with you on those aspects, and we're not going to do it with this map. And those are some good subjects, good material for tutorials, because I'm sure you want to know how to add custom biomes from Biomes of Plenty, custom blocks to your map, and things like that. So if you recall from the first or second episode of this tutorial series, I had a very clear list of goals of things I wanted for this map. Millenaire, it did not generate villages on the custom map. It generates villages if I explore beyond the boundaries of the map. For whatever reason, it didn't generate on the custom map. It should have. There were plenty of areas, certainly, that were ideal for villages, and I used the populate tool in World Painter on most of the areas of the map except for the cliffs, where I didn't want the game to sort of crap up my cliffs with dirt and gravel and shit like that. But apart from that, I have had to add the custom villages or I've had to add the Millenaire villages manually throughout the world. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do later. So I met my goals with this. So here's the gist of this map. It's created for a modded Minecraft. I really wanted a really nice map for my Biomes of Plenty, Millenaire, Project Zulu, and a whole bunch of other mods. I use like 30 mods, but I wanted it all. This is sort of my creating sort of my personal Minecraft dream map. It's an adventurer's paradise. It's really an adventure fantasy kind of map. Not adventure map in the sense of you can't break blocks. It's all you can break blocks. It's the main theme is Cthulhu Mythos, sort of a stage or a scene for some of the Lovecraft stories, because I had a thought to maybe do some Let's Plays where I'm pretending that I'm in a Lovecraft story, like a video series about that. I don't know when I'm going to do that. I don't have a lot of time for video making, as I've made pretty clear by now. But you know, that's where the inspiration of this map came from. And it just has pretty much a little of everything. Now, you will note it has a lot of snowy, rugged mountains. I mean, it doesn't have just one mountain range, it has several different mountain ranges. And that's the way I wanted it. I think it gives more of a feeling of expansiveness when you go to one mountain and then you venture further and yet another mountain range and adventure further, and you go through desert and you find another mountain range. I mean, there's the snowy mountains, there's the Arctic continent with lots of mountains, and even the desert has mountains. There's a jungle mountainous region, and there's a high desert mountain region. The Arctic continent has some very unique features. First of all, it's my inspiration for that was At the Mountains of Madness, a story by H.P. Lovecraft. And the mountains may not be as good as or as close to what you would imagine At the Mountains of Madness to be. I imagine them being really high, really high mountains, and you know, all sorts of things I imagine them to be. But World Painter has a height limit, or Minecraft has a block height limit of 255. So World Painter won't allow you to paint or create terrain higher than 255. So that's kind of limiting for mountains. So I did the best I could within those confinements here. Over here we have, right here where my cursor is Mount Everest, and then the mountains around it are actual top. These mountains are created from actual topographical data from Google Earth. So this is the exact topography of some of the mountains in the Himalayas. The resolution isn't that great, so it's not going to have the exact roughness and texture of the mountain. I did my best to add texture and roughness, but I didn't, only to a degree. I didn't want to fuck up the contours that were there. So as was this here, this whole region was one big custom brush that I created from topographical data from the Himalayas. And then there's several glaciers here that you'll find. Right here, let me go to 3D view for this one. So the rendering here isn't the best, but you can see sort of in 3D the glacier and then these big cracks, and these cracks have ledges all along them that you can explore in there, and maybe you'll find some secrets. When you spawn in this map, when you download and play this map, you'll spawn right here. And you can see the custom biomes I put in there. Let's just take the biomes off the map. You're gonna spawn right here. Now, this whole region of the map right here is very much inspired by the countryside in Switzerland. If you just go to Google Earth and look at Switzerland and some of the countrysides, there are pictures of the countryside in Switzerland. The hills have a very distinct character, as I've explained before, and it's very green and lush, and that's what this whole area is about. Now this island right here, this large island, I'll show you the photo of where I got the inspiration from that. I didn't copy the island exactly, but it's very much inspired from this right here. And I have added trees to this island. This island is all oak trees. We have giant oaks on this island, dense, dark, giant, mysterious oak forests. We have various kinds of oak trees just scattered about this island. One of the features I really like about this island is this broad hill I've created here, and this harkens back to scale of your terrain that I've talked about in previous tutorials. Just making them broad, because you want it to be big in game. Hills and mountains in default Minecraft are complete shit. They're just blobs of random stuff. And if we pan around here, you can see the sort of erosion and cliffs I've also created on this feature, which you can see in the original image that I got the inspiration. You can see the cliffs and all that shit. So I think that turned out very well. Right here, this island is sort of, I think of it as a Japanese island. It's got bamboo forests with bamboo trees from Biomes of Plenty. This is a swamp island up here, just swamped. You got mysterious woods up here. This island over here is another swamp, and all of this up here is sort of the more, I think, more of the mysterious part of the map. This valley right here, the river, it's supposed to represent the Lovecraft story Whisper in Darkness, because it's got the river from the story, and then it's sort of surrounded by these huge, epic snow mountains, rugged snow mountains. It's supposed to be a place where people don't really want to go there. There's a lot of myths and things, and common people are kind of fearful of that area, and it's just recommended not to travel in those parts. What else? There's a lot of dramatic coastlines all along the northern regions up here in it. But we got a lot of cliffs, as you can see here. If we come around, a lot of really cool rock outcroppings. So this is one of the rare times that you'll actually see what this particular area looks like. It's one of my dramatic coastlines I've created, and I just wanted to show you that. I don't have any exact story of how this land formed. I just think it looks cool, and it could happen in real life. It very much could happen in real life. I get a lot of inspiration from, because around where I live in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, there's the beaches are gloomy, and they have a lot of these bluffs and rocky coasts, and I love that. That's my favorite kind of beaches, and so that's kind of a lot of the inspiration of the coastlines up here in the north, as well as other dramatic coastlines of the world that I draw inspiration from. Like these tall cliffs here. They're really tall, really extreme, really dramatic, and that's what I wanted for this map, for all the reasons I discussed in previous episodes about making things dramatic. You've got this really high, rugged, huge mountain range that sort of cuts the whole continent in half. On the other side of that, the southern side, you get into the deserty areas. We've got sort of a Grand Canyon here. It's a mesa biome. Remember, this is Minecraft. The mesa has a lot of colorful layers that look kind of just too colorful, if in terms of realism. But again, this is Minecraft, and that's what I wanted. I mean, I did want a mesa. It has materials that I and you might also want to harvest. So I think I've rambled a long time about this map, but that's pretty much in a nutshell what this map is. I did want to mention that for those of you who've been following this Cthulhu Mythos series, you'll remember that I had a really large continent up here that I actually had to cut out of the map because World Painter ran out of memory, and I had to cut it out to conserve memory. I'm running a 4 gig laptop, and unfortunately, I really would have loved to have that in it also. It would have been much bigger, had a lot more to offer, but I'm still happy with what we've got here. And I actually lost the file. I was going back and looking for where I saved that as a separate map, and I can't find it anywhere. It looks like it's lost. I was going to add that actually to this map, and I figured out how to do that. I can import World Painter files and merge them into existing Minecraft world save. So in that way, I figured out how to get around the issue of not having enough RAM, which I wish I would have known that when I was doing that other portion before I cut it out. Nevertheless, it's gone, but I do plan to add to this map, and it's very easy for me to add more custom land to this map. Not just because I can merge it with existing worlds, but if we go to Biomes Viewer, this map sits here. The southern portion sits right here where you see this water. This is the terrain that the seed will generate beyond the borders in the south. And then the map comes up here. Here's the northern portion. That's actually where the Arctic sits. Somewhere around in here is the Arctic, right here. Well, in this seed, I've got a ton of ocean up like north of the map. There's a lot of ocean. This is all area where I could add land, and it wouldn't overlap any land in the seed, so I wouldn't get any abrupt walls of land. Cool. So I do plan on releasing I would call them sequels to the map. I'll probably, if I expand this map, I'll probably call it Cthulhu Mythos 2, and it'll have a separate download page. I almost forgot to mention, before we go into game, there's one final point that I really want to make here. So, there's a lot of really beautiful, realistic Minecraft custom maps out there to be downloaded on Planet Minecraft. And my map differs in some regards to some of those highly realistic maps that you see. Not in quality as far as terraforming and things like that, but when we go into game, you will see some parts of the map have random pits of water, pits of lava, and pits, and that's something that Minecraft adds itself as part of its terrain gen algorithm. I really have no control over that. My only options are see, when before I exported the map, I populated the map. So there's this tool in World Painter, it's the populate tool, and it's what tells Minecraft that it can populate the custom map with biomes, with trees, with animals, with mobs, with everything that you would see in Minecraft. If you don't tell it to populate a region of the map, and just what it will do is the terrain will be there. It'll have grass, there'll be rocks, but that's pretty much it. It won't have trees. The game won't generate anything on it. It'll just be bare land, and that's good in some cases for preserving details like beautiful cliffs and things like that. But for the most part, you want Minecraft to populate. Otherwise, it's like walking around in a lifeless, inert, sterile model. Walking around in a model. That's not how I want my world to feel like. My world is meant to be played in Minecraft. I have allowed Minecraft to populate most of the map, and there will be those random pits all over the place. But those are the same things that are in the default Minecraft. So I've accepted that. That's just part of the game. That's Minecraft. That's what it does. Like I said, this is supposed to be played. This is not a model for show. I didn't create this to show it off on Planet Minecraft for diamonds and level ups. So anyway, and the other thing I wanted to say is I wanted to show you an image that to make a point about realism. Now look at this image. It's beautiful. Wouldn't you like to explore these snowy mountains in the background? I mean, look at them. You just go up and up and up, and I wanted to do this in my custom map, but there's no way to achieve a scene like this in Minecraft, and here's why. Remember, there's the height limit of 255 block height. Blocks cannot be built above 255, and the base level of the terrain is level 62. Many of the custom trees as well are very tall. I mean, I think some of the custom trees, just for example, some of the pine trees are 80 blocks to 100 blocks tall. I had to be very careful with the trees. First of all, it would look really bad to have a 100 block tall tree next to a 120 block height mountain. It just would be a clashing of scale, and it would look like shit. Look very unnatural, let's put it that way. I think you can sort of imagine. But that's why you can't get a scene like this. You can't get forests climbing up the sides of mountains at the scale that you see in this picture. It's not the same. To do that in Minecraft, the height limit would have to stretch up into the thousands. I mean, 3,000 block height limit or more to get actual scale, I think. Okay, so after all that rambling, let's get into game and continue on with this video. I'll try to keep rambling to a minimum, okay? We're gonna add villages from Millenaire to the map. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so this brings us to the tutorial part of this video, where I'm going to show you how to add villages from the Millenaire mod into your custom map. Sorry for all the rambling. Let's get straight to it. Right now, I'm looking at a high resolution of the Cthulhu Mythos map, and I will create a download link where you can download this image for those who are playing my map. You know, that way you can have a high resolution image that you can look at to view the map, and you can even zoom in and still get very clear detail. Just to show you. So, here's the thing. I've already added most of the villages that I want on this map. There's just about 4 places that I want to add additional villages to finish up with that. And that's what we're going to do in this video. You're going to have to add your own villages, hence while I'm doing the tutorial. Because, you know, it's up to you if you want to use the Millenaire mod and add villages. I require Millenaire for my map. It just adds so much to the game experience. The AI on the NPCs is so good that it almost feels like I'm playing on a multiplayer server. I love it. You can trade with them. You have a reputation that goes up or down depending on the actions you take. It's just, they give you quests. Can't beat it. So, for myself, I have tried to include all the cultures, and I've localized the various cultures on different portions of the map. I wanted to add a Byzantine village right here. It's above the cliffs on this plateau, and then there's another little kind of plateau area right in here. I'm going to add a little villages, and then this area right here that's kind of by this dramatic rocky coast, I'm going to put a very small Byzantine settlement there. Not a big one, just a little one. Like a little hamlet sort of deal. Before you add your own specific villages, you'll want to decide what villages that you want. And for that, this Millenaire wiki is good for that. I'll put a link to this page in the description below this video. This page shows you the different cultures and the different kinds of villages, and then if you click on these, the names of these village categories, you can read more detail about those specific villages. So since we're going to be adding, we're going to do one Norman and then a few Byzantine villages, I just want to decide here. So I don't want to do anything where I'm lordship. I always want to start out fresh with all of these things. I don't want an independent town. I want to have to help whatever villages there are on the map. I don't want a village just sort of spreading on its own. Okay, we're at the first location that I'm going to add a village. And right here, I'm going to put a Norman agricultural kind of village. I also use Journey Map. It's a mod that gives you live overworld renders of your map and shows you where you're at, where you are. It's very helpful. It's not as good as Dynamap, but it's better than nothing. So you can just see here kind of where I'm at. Okay, so what you need to add your own villages are a few things. You'll need a wand of summoning. Normally in Minecraft you have to buy this from the villagers, but we're in creative and I don't view this as cheating. I'm simply finishing up my map creation by doing this, okay? You can just get this from the inventory in creative mode. And then we need a block of gold. Now, I've noticed something interesting with this. The wiki says that if you click on, let me just show you. Okay, so according to the wiki, if I place a block of obsidian and click on it with if I right click on it with the wand of summoning, the obsidian's supposed to give you a random village, totally random. Now, I've tried this in hundreds of locations all over my map with satisfactory terrain conditions, and it will not work. I always get this message. Use the wand on obsidian block to generate a random village, or on a gold block to select a village type you want. The obsidian's not working. But it's only not working on the custom map. I've went outside the borders of my custom map and tried to use the obsidian, and it works just fine. Anywhere, practically anywhere I want to use it, it's worked. I've tried it in just default Minecraft, works just fine. But for some reason, it will not work on my custom generated or my custom created terrain, the custom map. It will not work on the map. I don't know why this is. I don't know if it's something with Millenaire or something with World Painter, but it's not a big problem because we have the gold block. Now the gold block, instead of giving you a random village, it'll let you choose what village you want and then spawn it there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use the gold block and just choose our village. So when I right click, or sorry, I have to have my wand of summoning selected. Right click, it gives you this. You can then scroll or page over here to the different village. There's like 3 pages of villages here. Village agriculture. Actually, I'm not going to make this a very big village either, so I'm actually going to use the Hamu Agricole. That's the little hamlet agricultural thing we want. That. There it goes. Boom. There it is. And just it's just there. See what that looks like. First of all, let's make it day. Started a little hamlet in this area. I like it very much. Okay. Okay, our next place is this plateau, and we're gonna put a Byzantine. Choose a flattish area. I think this spot will be just fine right here. Right there. Find our Byzantine. And I wanted this one right here. I can't pronounce that, but I believe it's the agriculture. It's the one I chose. And there it is. Hasn't destroyed the terrain. It actually blended in quite nicely. I like it. Millenaire is such an awesome mod. Okay, next place is... Okay, so we're kind of by the coast. Just want to quickly assess the area, make sure we have a suitable building or village place here. And that's why it's just going to be a small hamlet, because I don't want a village to dominate this whole landscape. And this little clearing right here will be just fine. One thing I like about spotting these villages is that it doesn't seem to awkwardly just force itself over the landscape or destroy the landscape. It seems to sort of conform to the landscape for the most part, which I like. By the way, this is I think that this is a biomes of plenty biome. I think it's the lavender fields biome right here. And I said I wanted to do the Norman hamlets in these last 2 northern regions, so that's what we're going to do. And I chose a Norman agriculture. Okay, that's that. Suits that area just fine. Now we'll go to the last location. Okay, and here's our last location. Right here at this, it's a northern rocky coast. And I wanted to plop a little hamlet somewhere right over there where that lavender field is. In fact, here's a nice flat area. That'll work just fine. Put it right, turn around this way, and put it right here. And let's see, I wanted to have, I did the agriculture in the other one. Oh, let's do a little hamlet industrial. This one right here. Boom! We're here. Nice. I like that. It cut into that custom tree right there, but that's fine. That's all right. We can tolerate that. All right. So that's all my custom villages on my map. Okay, well that brings us to the end of this tutorial and video. I hope you've enjoyed this Cthulhu Mythos World Painter tutorial series and going through my little journey, well actually big journey of creating this map. I especially hope you download and enjoy playing this map because it's epic as it was designed to be. I did want to mention, now, about a week ago I broke 100 subscribers. That is awesome. I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate all my subscribers. And even though my goals for YouTube aren't to become big, that is just cool. I've never had over 100 subscribers on any YouTube channel that I've done. I've done a couple other channels, and that just is awesome for me. And this channel is really growing. I mean, I'm probably getting about 2 or 3, sometimes 5 subscribers a day, and that is just insane. That is just so cool. So thank you guys. I must be doing something right for you guys to watch my videos. So before I go, I want to just exit and go to the title screen. Okay, since the Cthulhu Mythos map was created for a modded Minecraft, just for fun, I'm going to show you what mods I use and tell you quickly a little bit about them. So just go through the list. Optifine, everyone knows what Optifine is. Raise minimap, of course. The barrels mod, it adds these little barrels. They're kind of like chests, but they basically look like a wooden block, and it's kind of rendered like a barrel. It works much like a chest. Bibliocraft is a fucking awesome mod. It adds bookshelves, nice lamps that you can put on tables, nice tables, chairs, a whole buttload of things. I fucking love Bibliocraft. It just adds so much detail of things that you can add when decorating your builds. Very cool. Biomes Aplenty, well, that's the first mod that all of you will download and install when you play my map, because this map was designed to be integrated with that mod. It adds a lot to the world, and it's one of my absolute essential mods. Craft Guide. Craft Heraldry is a cool mod. It's not my most important mod, but it adds some cool things. It adds flags that you can customize, put your own emblem or coat of arms on the flag, and very cool. Custom mob spawner. That's part of the Mo Creatures mod. I use the Mo Creatures mod. It's a great mod. It adds awesome creatures to the game. I won't go through all the creatures, but some of them are like werewolves. So for example, when I'm waiting out the night, it's so creepy. You hear howling of wolves and werewolves and They growl. It's awesome. Adds also to the mood of my map, which I like a lot. Easy colored glass. That's stained glass in Minecraft. And since this is 1.6.4, I pretty much have to have that that mod to have the stained glass in 1.6.4 because Mojang didn't add stained glass until 1.7.2. The other thing is with this easy colored glass mod, my Conquest texture pack doesn't give me the textures of what it normally gives textures for glass, which are the intricate pane patterns. Nonetheless, I like it. Greg's lighting. That's like, I think it's like lighting that you can flip a switch and it turns on and shit like that. I haven't used it yet. I haven't got to that part in the game where I've used that. Journey map. That's that that thing that is almost like Dying Map, but it's like a mapping software. It's the closest I've found to Dying Map for your single player. Millenaire, that's an absolute must. That's one of my absolute essentials. I have to have Millenaire in my world. For the reasons I've explained before. Just the NPCs and the AI of them are fucking awesome. I mean, if you start bullying around with some of the NPCs, even a little bit, you'll start to. It'll appear like they are gossiping about you. I mean, I've seen these NPCs standing in groups, and it looks like they're talking about me and deciding if they like me or not. It's just awesome. Just for fun, in the past, I have, more on the Millenaire mod. In the past, I was playing around and I was wandering some of these villages at nighttime. Like I was role playing like I was a spy, like I was spying on the village at night, and I was hiding up on a hillside or something, looking down at the village. And I noticed one of the men in the village sort of pacing around the village at night, and it was this is one of my funniest Minecraft moments. I saw the villager just shoot through a window, like he was standing outside the house and he shot through the window in the blink of an eye, and I couldn't see him anymore. He was inside the house. It was so funny. I have that footage, but it's on a previous video that it didn't turn out well. It wasn't a very good video, and most people didn't like the video anyway, so I have made that video private. Plunder and Rummage. That is an awesome mod. So what Plunder and Rummage does is it basically gives you these random scavenger hunts that you can hunt for treasure. It gives you quests in the game. So what I've noticed, if I destroy grass or I kill a mob randomly, I'll get a map, and then that map will give me I think coordinates to a treasure that I can go find. There's different difficulties of treasure and different levels of the kind of loot that you can find. Haven't played around with that mod too much yet. Great mod. It's a little like geocaching. If anybody knows what geocaching is in real life, it's a little bit like that in Minecraft. Project Zulu. That's another one of my favorite mods. It adds a lot of new enemies to the game. It adds it's basically intended to add adventure into Minecraft. So it spawns these random structures throughout the map. Like there's graveyards, there's tombs that lead down into underground labyrinths, there's temples. Different structures will spawn in different biomes. What else we got? Small boats. Now, small boats is another favorite mod. Small boats add some really awesome looking boats into the game. Almost the biggest one is almost like a ship. It's really cool, and I'm gonna use that when I start creating my port towns and port villages. I'll put some nice boats on the docks, and I'll explore the rest of my map, you know, set out to sea with these nice boats in the mod. It sort of enhances my sort of medieval theme that I sort of role play in my world. And what else we got? The camping mod, that's another favorite mod that I have to have. The camping mod adds a tent, a campfire, and a new food that you can grow, radishes. Radishes can be grown on just bare grass. You don't have to use the hoe, and they grow fast. Also, what will spawn on the map randomly throughout the map are an NPC called a camper, and they have a tent set up, and they're just randomly out there in the world camping, and you can talk to them and trade with them like, you know, normal NPCs. So that adds a new NPC to the game, but I really like that. It gives me more depth to my adventure experience with that. I can pack camping gear and camp in my adventures. Oh, there's also a backpack in that mod, so the backpack gives you, it's sort of like carrying around a chest on your back. Traveling house mod. That's a really important mod for me because there's been times that I've created a really nice structure, and then something happens that I need to move. Like one time my world got corrupted, and I needed to move to a different location that wasn't corrupted, or, you know, whatever. I'm sure there's a lot of reasons I can't think of, but if you need to move your nice structure, you can do it very easily with that mod. Just move it. There's also a lot of other advantages to being able to move your structure. I think if you go to the Nether, you can just place a structure that you've previously created into the Nether and sort of instantly have a safe base in the Nether and things like that. Okay, what else we got? Just wrapping up here. Twilight Forest. That is another really big, good mod. I love it. I haven't had a chance to explore that mod either. It adds a new realm into the game. The Twilight Forest has its own realm, and you can find out more about that by Googling Twilight Forest. I can't tell you a lot about it because, like I said, I haven't played the features in that mod yet. And then lastly, I have Balkan's Weapons mod. Adds new cool weapons into the game. It has its own campfire as part of the mod, in addition to the camping mod, but the weapons mod has a campfire, and it's slightly different. It's crafted slightly with different items, and I actually like the looks of that campfire better than the campfire in the camping mod. So it's another a good little mod to have. It's not a big mod. So that's pretty much it. That's all the ones I use. There's other mods that I like but don't fit into the medieval period theme that I like to roleplay in Minecraft, so I haven't included those mods in this world. I mean, there's a lot of other cool mods. But anyway, please show your support by liking and favoriting this video. It took me several days to produce this video, so I would appreciate that support. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.